From being a 7-time world champion in Mercedes to qualifying P18 in a Ferrari. I mean, what a fall from grace. You could almost hear Toto laughing in German somewhere. Seriously, it's wild how quickly things have turned for Lewis. Once the man who defined dominance in Formula One, now he's stuck in a team that defines chaos. And we all knew Ferrari had strategy problems, but I don't think any of us expected it to drag Lewis this far down this fast. By going from fighting Verstappen to fighting Franco Colapinto in a midfield DRS train, that's not a career arc, that's a Shakespearean tragedy. So in today's video, we're looking at how Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari, the most hyped driver transfer in recent history, has gone from hopeful to horrifying in record time. This wasn't just a gamble that didn't pay off. This was the final roll of the dice for a driver whose career is now looking like a meme compilation. Let's get into how this legendary partnership turned into a masterclass of how not to leave a legacy. From 2014 to 2021, Mercedes wasn't just a dominant team, they were a motorsport cult. They had the fastest car, the smartest strategy, the biggest budget, and in Lewis Hamilton, a driver who made winning look so routine, you'd think he had a cheat code. He'd show up, qualify on pole, disappear into the distance, and wave goodbye to the rest of the grid like it was a Sunday cruise. People weren't debating if he would win, they were just guessing by how many seconds. But after the heartbreak of Abu Dhabi 2021, the infamous ending that probably lives rent-free in Lewis's head even today, something changed. That was the moment the godlike aura cracked. Lewis never really returned to his final form after that. In 2022 and 2023, the Mercedes W13 and W14 bounced so hard they should have come with a neck brace. Lewis went from fighting Max for world titles to fighting Haas for Q2 appearances. Still, in late 2024, just when it felt like the magic was gone, he reminded everyone who he was with that iconic win at Silverstone and a surprise masterclass in Belgium. And then came the announcement. Lewis Hamilton, the most decorated driver in Formula One history, was leaving the Silver Arrows and joining the most famous team in motorsport history, Scuderia Ferrari. It felt biblical. The 7-time champ in red? Ferrari fans lost their minds. People genuinely believed it would be the ultimate redemption arc. Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari, going for the controversial 8th world title to finally surpass Michael Schumacher. It was supposed to be the final chapter in a GOAT story. Well, it's not exactly gone to script. So, Lewis to Ferrari finally happened. After all the rumors, the leaks, the fan edits with him in red, the endless Reddit debates, it's real. The 7-time world champion, the man who made Mercedes his empire, rolled up to 2025, rocking the slightly darker shade of Ferrari red with that iconic yellow helmet. It was supposed to be cinematic. The comeback arc, the "I'll finish what I started" energy. Fans were hyped, pundits were writing redemption arcs before the first lights went out, and let's be honest, even the most die-hard tifosi were daydreaming about the title coming back to Maranello, with Lewis waving the Italian flag on the podium. Pre-season testing, not exactly encouraging. Lewis didn't look thrilled. Rumors of a private test crash started floating around, and while Ferrari never officially confirmed anything, the paddock whispers were loud. Let's just say, crashing before the season even starts isn't the best way to make friends with your new mechanics. Then came Australia, the big season opener. Expectations? High. The result? Pain. Lewis finished P10. And yeah, sure, points are points, but when you're a 7-time world champion in a Ferrari, scraping the final point like you're driving a Williams isn't exactly the dream debut. But wait! It gets worse. Next up was China, where both Ferraris got disqualified. Not DNF'd, not out of points, disqualified. It's like the FIA just decided to wipe them off the board. You couldn't even find their names on the final classification. A historic weekend for all the wrong reasons. Then Japan, P7, Bahrain, P5. Okay, signs of life. Fans started hoping again. Maybe, just maybe, we're getting another Ferrari mid-season revival like last year. The car looked more planted. Lewis looked more confident. The radio calls didn't sound like he was ready to walk off into the forest mid-race. And then came the slump. We're talking textbook P7 energy. Race after race, Lewis just hovered around that mid-top 10 zone, like he was trying to collect loyalty points. In Imola, he finally pushed to a season-best P4. Austria? Also P4. Things were looking decent, not title challenging but respectable. Then Silverstone happened. Now if there's one place where Lewis Hamilton always delivers, it's Silverstone. It's his turf. But this time, nah. He got outraced by Nico Hülkenberg. Yup, the man held off a Ferrari at home. Not even exaggerating. Nico, in a sober, said, "Not today, Lewis," and shut that door like he was driving for his life. It was wild. And just when you thought it couldn't get more tragic, we hit Spa. My man qualified P18. No penalties, no weird weather, just raw pace. Well, the lack of it. That onboard lap felt like watching someone drive a wet shopping cart on a ski slope. And after qualifying, Lewis looked done, visibly emotional. And to be fair, if you've built your entire career at the front and suddenly find yourself stuck behind an Alpine and a Haas, you'd be a little heartbroken too. To make things spicier, the radio chatter this season has been awkward. Like Ferrari and Lewis clearly didn't spend enough time at couples therapy. There've been multiple moments where Lewis asked to stay out and Ferrari just boxed him anyway, or times when he begged for information and got silence. Monaco flashbacks intensify, post-race interviews are dry, and this isn't just a performance problem anymore, it's a vibe problem. Okay, let's talk about the Belgian Grand Prix, and trust me, this one had everything. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, qualifying P18 at Spa, that alone was enough to make every Ferrari fan go, so this is what pain feels like. But just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Ferrari decided to spice things up even more. They slapped a new power unit into the car and started Lewis from the pit lane. Just vibes. 0 points in planning. Meanwhile, the front of the grid was doing its usual thing, Max and the McLarens playing DRS chess, Charles trying to stay involved, and Oscar doing Oscar things. And while all that was happening, Lewis quietly decided he was done being a background character. No, for the first 13 laps of the race, we saw something that's been missing all season. Prime Lewis. The man suddenly remembered who he was. He started slicing through the midfield like it was 2020 again. At one point, he pulled off a triple overtake like it was a Tuesday afternoon drive, and for a moment, it looked like he was going to fully rewrite the script. Then came the boldest moment of all. The track started drying, and Ferrari actually let Lewis make a strategy call. Absolute miracle. He dived into the pits first for slicks while everyone else was still playing safe, and boom! The timing was perfect. Suddenly, Lewis was the fastest man on track, putting in purple sectors while the leaders struggled on old inters, all the way to P7 from P18. At Spa, in the wet, that's not just a recovery drive, that's a statement. On a track where one mistake can send you flying into the barriers at Eau Rouge or get you stuck in a gravel trap in Sector 2, Lewis actually gained 11 places with clean overtakes and smart calls. That drive, honestly, had shades of the old Lewis. The one that would fight his way to the front no matter what kind of mess the team gave him. But now, as we look ahead to Hungary, things get a little interesting. It's a tighter track, a bit more technical, and while it may not scream Ferrari friendly, it's one of those circuits where a good driver can make a real difference. And say what you will about Ferrari's season, which has been mostly confusion with a side of heartbreak, but if Lewis can keep showing this kind of pace and mindset, he might just carry this project forward into something meaningful. I'm not saying we're getting an 8th title next year. Let's be realistic, Ferrari's going to have to pull off a small miracle just to deliver a title-wavy car, but performances like this at least show there's still fuel in the tank. Lewis may not be in his prime anymore, but that doesn't mean he's done. And if Ferrari ever figures out how to stop stepping on their own foot every race weekend, we might actually get to see a proper championship fight again.